The affordable four-seater convertible has been a dying segment for years. However, introduced just last year for the North American market, Buick brought a revival to this segment, once dominated by Toyota's Solara and Chrysler's Sebring. Does the Cascada have what it takes? Well, let's go ahead and find out and take a closer look at this 2017 Buick Cascada. Now, before the Cascada was introduced here in the United States just last year, it actually was sold in Europe since 2013. And you could tell that this is Buick's older generation design by just looking at the interior. I mean, it has Buick's last generation Buick IntelliLink system for their head unit. And then also the buttons on the dashboard are a little dated too. But I really do love the styling on the exterior of the Cascada. I really love the distinctive looking 20-inch alloy wheels, and these LED daytime running lights do finish off the vehicle quite nicely. Now, one thing I love that Buick is trying to do is that they're trying to bring back the affordable 4-passenger convertible class, as there's not many vehicles in this class anymore. I mean, Toyota Solara has been discontinued for years now, and the Chrysler 200 convertible just got discontinued. Unless if you want a muscle car for a convertible, I mean, there's really no other choice for a affordable convertible anymore. And you have to step up to luxury vehicles to get a convertible now, like Audi's A3 Cabriolet or BMW's 4 Series convertible or BMW's 2 Series convertible. But I love how Buick is trying to bring back this segment, as it was a pretty popular segment back in the 90s and the early 2000s. Now, here goes the key fob design for the vehicle. You do have a switchblade key, and you have your unlock, your lock to release your trunk, and your remote engine start, as well as your panic alarm. Now, this color of the Cascada is known as the Deep Sky Metallic. And not much has changed for the 2017 model year, except for that there is a new trim level. You also do have a beige leather interior with contrast stitching. And you have your power driver's seat controls, power recline, as well as power lumbar. Alright, now stepping on inside of the Cascada here, it's still a pretty good looking interior. Slightly dated, but overall it's still pretty good looking. Just the head unit and the buttons look pretty dated. But I really do love the stitching on the dashboard, that looks quite nice. And there's a lot of contrast inside of here with the colors, which makes the interior pop a little bit more. No push button ignition here though. Pretty disappointed about that. And we have a fairly loaded Cascada here. And what you're hearing there is a 1.6 liter turbo 4-cylinder. You have a full leather wrapped steering wheel.
This vehicle is in demonstration.
Coming to your transmission, 6-speed automatic. Pretty standard stuff here. Manual shiftability, and you have your electronic parking brake when you put the vehicle into reverse. It'll display your rear view camera with guidance lines and trajectory. And let's go ahead and turn on the headlights as well as the fogs and the hazards. Let's go ahead and check out the exterior of the Cascada. And I'm going to go ahead and put the top down. And you have an automatic driver's side window. Let's go and pop up the hood and check out the engine bay. Heated exterior mirrors. And you have side turn signal indicators. And you do have 20-inch alloy wheels. Coming up front here, we have high intensity discharge headlights with LED daytime running lights and your halogen projector beam fogs down below. You also have front parking sensors that come with the premium trim that we have here. Now, powering the Cascada is their only powertrain available. It's a 1.6 liter turbocharged inline four-cylinder. You're looking at 200 horsepower at 5,500 RPM and 207 pound-feet of torque at 1,800 RPM, with EPA estimates being an okay 20 in the city and 27 on the highway. Now, the Cascada convertible really is only in a class of its own. However, if you want to compare it to some other convertibles, I suggest looking at the BMW 2 Series convertible as well as the Audi A3 Cabriolet. Total vehicle price for our particular Cascada is 20 in the city and 27 on the highway, like I said. And the final assembly point for this vehicle is actually in Poland. That's weird. And the overall vehicle score is 5 out of 5. I'm really surprised about that this vehicle is built in Poland, but I mean, this vehicle was sold in Europe for quite some time, so. Now, coming to the rear of the Cascada, you have LED taillights with LED turn signal indicators that look pretty good, remind me of the Regal. And you have a shark fin antenna too, as well as rear parking sensors. The rear end looks pretty good. You have all of your basic power necessities: power windows, power mirrors, chrome interior, door handles. Interior quality in the Cascada is pretty good. You have soft touch materials inside of here, especially on the door panels and on the armrest. And on top of the dashboard, it's nice and soft touch with stitching everywhere inside of here. And build quality is pretty good for the most part, not too shabby. Overall, everything feels pretty and sturdy inside of here, and ultimately it's not too bad in terms of its interior quality. Now, coming to the steering wheel design here, the steering wheel is certainly a little dated here, but it gets the job done. I mean, you have your steering wheel mounted audio controls, Bluetooth phone controls, and voice recognition, all that basic stuff. It's just an older design. And you do have your cruise control over here, as well as your forward collision alert. Down here, you'll also find a little storage cubby, a USB charging port, and a 12-volt power outlet, as well as your auxiliary input. And dual cup holders. Your center console is soft touch with nice stitching. There's an okay amount of center console storage, but don't expect it to provide SUV-like center console storage. Glove box compartment, lined with felt, that's nice. And then you also do have dual zone automatic climate control. You have your temperatures with the dials right here. Pretty easy to figure out. However, I wish they were just a little bit bigger. Different zones, and your heated seats 3-staged. And one thing I don't like about all these buttons is that some of the buttons do look similar and the same, and sometimes it can be a little bit distracting to use. I think they really should change the button layout, and there's just too much going on here. Now, coming to the main head unit and the infotainment system, like I said, this is Buick's last generation interface. This isn't their newest head unit that you will find in most of their vehicles. It's not the same one that you'll find in the Envision or the new LaCrosse. And I'm not a huge fan of this head unit because it's a little far within the driver's reach, and the responsiveness just isn't all that great. They certainly have improved a whole lot when it comes to their newer head units compared to this old one here. Your different audio sources do include all of the norm. You have AM, FM, XM satellite radio, your Pandora internet radio, Stitcher, and all that basic stuff. Bluetooth streaming audio, your auxiliary input, USB port with iPod integration. We also do have navigation, which shows your points of interest. Also live traffic. You can enter in your destination by voice if you would like. You also do have your phone. You can hook up your Bluetooth phone, have all of your contacts stored on here. One thing I'm also not a huge fan of are the buttons on top that are scrunched together, and it's just a little hard to press at times. It's just not ergonomically correct here. And you have live weather. You could change your tone for your sounds, like your bass, treble, fader, all that good stuff. Then you have your fuel prices, pictures, movies, quick info, which shows you things like your nearby fuel stations, your movie show times. But overall, this head unit is certainly pretty dated. They do need to update this here. But like I said, this vehicle was designed in 2013. Then you do have your lane departure warning button right there, as well as your parking sensors button. Now, as far as the way the Cascada drives, now this Cascada has a pretty good balance between decent ride comfort and decent handling. The handling feels pretty nimble at times and makes you want to throw this vehicle around sharp corners occasionally. Now, it's not going to be as good as a BMW 2 Series. However, the Cascada, for what it is, for being a Buick, I mean, it's a pretty sharp handling car, especially for being a four-seater premium kind of convertible. I mean, this car really isn't all about sporty intentions. It's really more about, it's kind of like a grand touring kind of convertible. But the ride is pretty smooth and compliant, and you know, it's pretty quiet at times. Now, my only problem with this vehicle and the way it drives is the 1.6 liter turbo 4-cylinder. Doesn't provide that much acceleration. But like I said, this vehicle really isn't trying to be sporty. It's not trying to, you know, say, look at me. You know, I mean, this vehicle is all about just kind of like a comfortable convertible cruiser. And I really do miss those kind of convertibles, like Toyota's old Solara and Chrysler 200 just got discontinued. I mean, I really miss that segment with the, you know, the touring convertible car. And the Cascada delivers, you know, competent handling as well as, you know, a decent ride quality. But if you're looking for the sportiest convertible out there, just go to a BMW M4 or a Ford Mustang convertible or a Chevrolet Camaro convertible. But overall, it's not that bad when driving the Cascada. Like I said, it has decent ride comfort and decent handling, and fuel efficiency isn't that bad either. All right, and let's go ahead and shut it down. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle. Of course, I mean, you can't expect a whole lot of cargo space back here, but it gives you a little trunk space, and you can fold these seats down just by pushing on these buttons right here. You do have a powered passenger seat with power recline and power lumbar. And to get into the rear seats, pretty easy mechanism. Just fold this up and the seat will automatically pull forward for you, which I like that. Oops. And sitting back here, I mean, it can be a little bit cramped. What I don't like is that the seat won't automatically push up if it, you know, cramps your legs, like how you'll find in, you know, luxury convertibles. like the Mercedes-Benz C-Class Cabriolet, like the seat will automatically come back, but when it senses your legs, then it will pull forward. But it is soft touch back here with the materials, which is nice. And you do have dual cup holders, as well as a 12-volt power outlet. Okay amount of space, but certainly not the greatest. So the 2017 Buick Cascada certainly has some shortcomings, most notably being with its technology. However, it still makes for a pretty comfortable 4-passenger premium convertible. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.